The livery?
Yeah, I don't know if you're using a custom livery or not,
No,
but
it's one of the. It's just out of the game. I mean,
yeah,
But Tommy, you've noticed it's after Carl joins?
yeah. When I join the server after Karn, if Karn joins after me, it's fine.
Interesting.
That's weird.
well, I guess for the next race, I'll choose a different livery, and we'll see if it happens again.
Remember the first race with these cars, it was, oh shit, I can't think of his name now, but he was the one showing up yellow for me. Maybe that changes, but it's triggered by the Dick Simon car? I don't know.
Or I wonder now which chassis is everybody using? Different one? I mean, I'm in the March. Is everybody else using Marches or Lola?
I have a watch.
I have switched to Ari Leyendijk, which is one of the other ones. I forget. It's the middle one.
Yeah. Okay. That's weird.
So I figured we had enough Jacques Villeneuve drivers for a switch.
Purple Sector 1 for Jazz Whitfield.
There was another
Sector
new
2
guy. I don't know if
session,
he's
Jazz
coming
Whitfield.
back. Dino Lombardi.
Trackside
He was in
view.
a Villeneuve car too.
Oh, okay. I just looked for a name of a guy I used to like, you know. I remember liking Ari Leyendijk for some reason.
Now watching Carl Struhal.
Yeah, that's why I picked Boiselle. I liked him back in the day. But I think this is actually before I liked him, if you know what I'm saying. I liked him more later on, but
Right, me too.
there are some cool liveries in this mod, that's for sure.
Yeah, attention to detail is pretty good.
Yeah, and a nice
Carl
So I'm in the
Struhal, now 10
Provimi
laps
Racing Lola chassis road car.
That's the Purple Sector 1 we've seen. Carl Struhal. Now watching Tommy Teasdale.
Carl, how's the missus?
she's a lot better now.
Oh, good. Good to hear.
Yeah, we seen the doctor today. I mean, it's just kind of a follow-up. Plus she's been eating and not throwing up. That's really good.
Yeah, really good.
P1 Tommy Teasdale keeping it clean.
I'm gonna bail out and joint and grab another car and see what happens.
Hang on just a sec, would you? I'm on my way in. I want to see.
She already left.
Too late. Sorry.
When you decide you're out of there, huh? That's all right.
I think I was clicking when I was saying.
Like in the mornings, you know, when you say, gotta run, see you later, bye, you're gone.
Oh yeah, because
I
I'm
don't have
running
time
around.
to type.
No, and I know that. It's just I'm
Be
wanting to get
running
to
late.
work at a certain time. No, I'm not really running late. Generally, early is on time to me. I don't like.
P1 Tommy
Plus,
Teasdale
I'm
keeping it clean.
I'm always there first, so people ain't gonna say that. Well, we was waiting on Carl. Like, nah, ain't gonna say that about me.
Great. I think I have too much independence. I can come and go as I please and no one bat an eye, you know.
Yeah, no, and I do too. But when these MRV walks, I'm meeting engineers up there from USAF or Pratt & Whitney. I'm like, I'll just be there before they get there.
So I got G motor error, even though you weren't, I don't know, maybe you were still in but leaving or whenever the timing was, but
No,
like-
it's everybody yellow is what
Tommy
you said?
Teasdale now 17 laps done.
well, I was having that problem. I don't know if Tommy was having that same problem. I thought it was related to this G motor 2 error. now the one I've got says M85C exhaust cover, material,
That's the quickest sector 1 we've
error
seen. Tommy
loading,
Teasdale.
global material, exhaust
Fastest sector 2 of the
cover,
session. Tommy Teasdale.
mesh, car body, something or other.
Yeah.
Jazz Whitfield has spun in Patrick Racing. Let's see that again.
But I'm going to
When you-
click through them and get in the server, though.
See,
Now I'm in there.
well, and I'm rejoined. I grabbed somebody else, Roberto Guerrero, this time.
We're back with Tommy
You're
Teasdale
in there?
P1
I'm
in
not.
Canadian Tire.
No,
You're
no,
on.
no. It's 78%. That's
Okay.
I'm best
Gotcha.
about.
P1 Tommy Teasdale, keeping it clean.
Well, I can see your car. It's not yellow.
Wow, that's a cool looking.
Can you see mine?
Oh, Tommy, you're yellow.
Oh, maybe that's much.
Well, I picked another mark. That's what that. Hell, I don't even know if I even look at this livery. It's cool. But yeah. I mean, I see Tommy in the Canadian Tire
P1 Tommy
car.
Teasdale, keeping it clean.
But hell, this one that I picked, actually, I like that livery. It's actually pretty cool.
I like the Canadian Tire car because that's kind of where Jacques got his start.
Yeah. This car is kind of cool looking for the red, white, and blue. And then it's at Emerson Big Ones Electric. No, Emerson Electric.
Well, I guess I don't mind if I have to race against a yellow car, but it kind of makes the
No, it
Net-
sucks ass. to
net
race
code
against
weird,
the yellow.
right? Like it's hard to race up against someone.
Alright,
with
Yeah,
different
if
no.
I
shape.
change to another car and go back to the Canadian Tire car.
Shit,
Okay.
I gotta switch back to I forgot.
Am I still yellow?
You're still kind of loading. Like I can't see you at all.
Now, am I yellow?
Now I see your livery, Tommy. And Carl, I see yours as well. I see myself and I see Jazz. So all four that are in there I see now.
Yeah, I see L4 as well.
Were you seeing one as yellow, Tommy?
No.
You weren't.
You were all okay.
So
Oh,
that
had
was-
anybody decided what wing are they? I think I just stuck to that rear wing too.
I
But
picked
now
the
that
one
I-
that looks larger. Like the end plates are larger.
Yeah, it's V2.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I've got. I mean, I had, and then when I switched cars, I didn't. So
Mine's actually the not V2 for my car. That's the one that looks larger in the customize menu, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd know the difference. Tommy, you ever try the visor mod in VR? Doesn't seem to work.
No, it does not seem to work.
Just puts a blurry
I tried
spot up.
it once and it did nothing for me.
It puts a blurry spot up in the sky somewhere
Oh, okay.
for me.
Now watching Carl Struhol. Now watching Jazz Whitfield. Jazz Whitfield now 12 laps done. On board with Karl Struhal. P4 Karl Struhal, keeping it clean. On board with Jazz Whitfield. Karl Struhal fastest in Team Cotter, 1:13.223. On board with Karl Struhal. P2 Karl Struhal, keeping it clean. Trackside view. P4 Sean Eric, keeping it clean. Karl Struhal is in trouble in Team Cotter. Here's the replay. We're back with Sean Eric in P1 in Pravimi Racing. P4 Sean Eric, keeping it clean. Sean Eric tops Pravimi Racing with a 1:13.761. Now watching Brian Hall. P3 Brian Hall, keeping it clean. P3 Brian Hall, keeping it clean. On board with Daryl Kruger. On board with Brian Hall. P3 Brian Hall, keeping it clean. Fastest in Newman Haas Racing, Daryl Kruger, 112.225. Trackside view. P3 Daryl Kruger, keeping it clean. P3 Daryl Kruger, keeping it clean. On board with Brian Hall. Brian Hall finding time in section 1.
Evening, guys.
On board with Daryl Kruger.
Hello.
Hey, Sean.
Ready?
P3 Daryl Kruger, keeping it clean. P3 Daryl Kruger, keeping it clean. P3 Daryl Kruger, keeping it clean. Trackside view. Jazz Whitfield is getting into a rhythm now. Now watching Carl Struhal. P4 Carl Struhal, keeping it clean. Carl Struhal improves in sector 1. On board with Sean Eric. P5 Sean Eric keeping it clean. Carl Struhal has spun in Team Cotter. Let's see that again. We're back with Sean Eric in P1 in trackside view. Quicker laps now from Jazz Whitfield. Now watching Craig Gallagher. P7 Craig Gallagher, keeping it clean. Daryl Kruger is in trouble in Newman Haas Racing. Here's the replay. We're back with Craig Gallagher in P1, now watching Jazz Whitfield. The times are coming down for Jazz Whitfield. Jazz Whitfield now 22 laps done. Personal best in sector 1 for Jazz Whitfield. Now watching Brian Hall. P2 Brian Hall keeping it clean. Now watching Jazz Whitfield. Jazz Whitfield has found some pace in the last few laps. P6 Jazz Whitfield keeping it clean. Personal best in sector 2 for Jazz Whitfield. On board with Brian Hall. Brian Hall on board with Carl Struhal. Trackside view. P4 Sean Eric keeping it clean. Sean Eric sets a personal best through Sector 2. On board with Craig Gallagher. Oh, Brian Hall has spun in Penske. Let's see that again. We're back with Craig Gallagher in P1 in Machinist Union Racing. Craig Gallagher fastest in Machinist Union Racing, 1:16.821. P7 Craig Gallagher keeping it clean. P7 Craig Gallagher keeping it clean. Craig Gallagher finding time in Sector 1. Craig Gallagher improves in Sector 2. P7 Craig Gallagher keeping it clean. P7 trackside view. Quicker laps now from Brian Hall. Oh, Tommy Teasdale has spun in Canadian Tire Racing. Let's see that again. We're back with Brian Hall in P1. Now watching Jazz Whitfield. Jazz Whitfield has found some pace in the last few laps. P6 Jazz Whitfield keeping it clean. On board with Craig Gallagher. Craig Gallagher has found some pace in the last few laps. On board with Brian Hall. Brian Hall now 14 laps done. Trackside view. P7 Craig Gallagher, keeping it clean. Now watching Carl Struhal. Carl Struhal has found some pace in the last few laps. On board with Jazz Whitfield. Jazz Whitfield is getting into a rhythm now. P6 Jazz Whitfield keeping it clean. Jazz Whitfield has spun in Patrick Racing. Let's see that again. We're back with Jazz Whitfield in P1. On board with Carl Struhal. Carl Struhal improves in sector 2. Quicker laps now from Carl Struhal. Carl Struhal now 17 laps done. Carl Struhal now 17 laps done. Trackside view. Quicker laps now from Tommy Teasdale. P1 Tommy Teasdale, keeping it clean. Jazz Whitfield has spun in Patrick Racing. Let's see that again. We're back with Tommy Teasdale in P1, on board with Jazz Whitfield. Jazz Whitfield has found some pace in the last few laps. Trackside view. Daryl Kruger has found some pace in the last few laps. P5 Daryl Kruger keeping it clean. Jazz Whitfield has spun in Patrick Racing. Let's see that again. We're back with Daryl Kruger in P1. Now watching Sean Eric. P4 Sean Eric keeping it clean. Times are coming down for Sean Eric. Sean Eric sets a personal best through sector 2. On board with Daryl Kruger. Quicker laps now from Daryl Kruger. Jazz Whitfield is spun in Patrick Racing. Let's see that again. We're back with Daryl Kruger in P, on board with Oliver Day. P7 Oliver Day, keeping it clean. Trackside view. Oliver Day is in trouble in Canadian Tire Racing. Here's the replay. We're back with Tommy Teasdale in P1, on board with Sean Eric. Quicker laps now from Sean Eric. Sean Eric improves in sector 1. Green sector 2 to Sean Eric. P2 Sean Eric, keeping it clean. Trackside view. Now watching Tommy Teasdale. The times are coming down for Tommy Teasdale. Tommy T's now watching Brian Hall.
So normally I'd read a driver's brief. With us being the usual suspects, I won't read it unless somebody says, please do.
That's probably fine unless there's anything weird at this track specifically.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything different than anything anywhere else. I hadn't, pit scene
On board with
normal.
Tommy Teasdale.
Penalty when you're on track.
Couldn't really hear you, Brian.
What's that? Yeah.
The pit line, if you're on track and you cross over it, I've been getting a penalty on that.
Yeah, don't do that. No, I'm just.
Well, that's
No,
that's
you're
the-
talking about
that's the track.
You're talking about that the blue line over
They
there.
swerve too far to the right.
Yeah, you gotta stay. You gotta. How far are you going over? I mean, I'm
I'm
going over there.
it, but most times you can do that
Tommy
on a
Teasdale
track.
has
but not
found
on
some
this
pace in the last few
Yeah.
laps.
No, I got you. Yeah, no more than 2 wheels over that side has been safe for me. All right, we'll run it on up to 8 o'clock, and then we'll start qualifying without any objections.
On board with Sean Eric. The times are coming down for Sean Eric.
Looking at
Trackside
R2LA, I thought we might get a few new guys, but I guess not. But at least we got
The lap times are starting
the
to drop off for Jazz
faithful
Whitfield.
crews here, and I appreciate y'all. We're gonna have some fun. Like I say, last man standing. Hopefully we can all get to the finish.
Boy, it spins easy here.
Jazz Whitfield now 35
Oh, yeah.
laps done.
Put that power down a little too much, and she comes right out from under you. And that turn, the hairpin for 45 minutes, getting that right.
Yeah.
Now watching Craig Gallagher.
Yeah, there it's better to be late on power than spinning.
Right, for sure.
Carl Stroll is in trouble in Team Cotter. Here's the replay.
I'm also worried about over revving the thing over those bumps. Pretty easy to do.
We're back with Craig Gallagher in P1 in Machinist Union Racing.
I bet Ollie's worried too.
Craig Gallagher now 10
Oh, he
laps
does have
done.
prior in that category, yeah. But Carl, what was the last one, Cleveland, that I missed? Did he blow
Yeah.
up again toward the end of the race?
Yeah.
Oh,
Even though he said he was just cruising it too.
I knew he blew up. I didn't know if it was a similar one toward the end. Like you put a lot of
Yeah.
time into it and then you can't make it. That sucks.
Oh, and this was my first lap in
P7
the
Craig Gallagher,
in the,
keeping it
under
clean.
111 just a minute ago. So I'm finally glad they've done that.
On board with Brian Hall.
Still makes me a couple seconds slow, but oh well. Tell you what, it's a minute till 8. I'll let if anybody needs to finish their lap at 8 o'clock here, we'll roll this thing over. Or I'll
P3 Brian Hall, keeping it clean. On board with Jazz Whitfield. Trackside view.
tell you what, I'm going to use the restroom, and when I come back, we'll go to qualifying, fellas.
Brian Hall, now 24 laps done. Personal best in Sector 1 for Brian Hall. P3 Brian Hall, keeping it clean.
All right, gentlemen. I'm gonna let you Brian finish his lap, I guess, and we'll go to next
Brian
session.
Hall has found some pace in the last few laps.
Okie doke. Here we go, folks. Next session. And one thing I do ask, coming out of the pits, just be careful of, or considerate of everybody else's that might be on a hot lap. I have pushed the button. All right, here comes quality. Good luck, everybody. Don't speed out of the pits, please, and then wait for, don't go under red either. So just.
On board with Tommy Teasdale. On board with Sean Eric. P2 Sean Eric, keeping it clean. board with Oliver Day. Trackside view. P5 Daryl Kruger, keeping it clean. On board with Carl Struhal. P5 Carl Struhal, keeping it clean. Brian Hall has spun in Penske. Let's see that again. We're back with Carl Struhal in P1 in Team Cotter. Trackside view. Great team. Now watching Sean Eric. On board with Daryl Kruger. P5 Daryl Kruger, keeping it clean. Ten minutes remaining. We're back with Daryl Kruger in trackside view. P2 for Oliver Day in Canadian Tire Racing with a 1:15.265. P1 Tommy Teasdale, keeping it clean. On board with Oliver Day. Trackside view. Carl Struhal has spun in Team Cotter. Let's see that again. halfway point. 8 minutes remaining. We're back with Carl Struwel in now watching Tommy Teasdale. Now watching Oliver Day. P6 Oliver Day, keeping it clean. On board with Sean Eric. That's Sean Eric's best sector 2 of the session. P2 Sean Eric, keeping it clean. P2 Sean Eric, keeping it clean. Trackside view. The lap times are starting to drop off for Oliver Day. On board with Tommy Teasdale. Daryl Kruger has spun in Newman Haas Racing. Let's see that again. We're back with Tommy Teasdale in P1 in Canadian Tire Racing. 5 minutes remaining. P1 Tommy T, trackside view. Now watching Tommy Teasdale. P1 Tommy Teasdale, keeping it clean. Now watching Daryl Kruger. On board with Oliver Day. Losing a bit of pace now, Oliver Day. P6 Oliver Day, keeping it clean. On board with Daryl Kruger. Daryl Kruger now 10 laps done. Trackside view. Oliver Day is struggling to maintain the pace. Two minutes remaining. Now watching Tommy Teasdale. P1 Tommy Teasdale, keeping it clean. On board with Kyle Strohal. One minute remaining. Kyle Strohal, now 12 laps done. Trackside view. Oliver Day is spun in Canadian Tire Racing. Let's see that again. The checkered flag is out for qualifying. We'll have the results once timing and scoring confirm the final order.
Nice one, Tommy. Exactly 109.
Yeah, he was wanting that 108, and I was up like 7/10 and blew it on that out of the hairpin.
It's tricky out of the hairpin with auto clutch on. You can dip down into the clutch taking over, I found.
Yeah.
But I don't dare turn the auto clutch off for this car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You gonna do the whole 10 minutes, or what do you think?
Yeah, we'll do the whole 10 minutes. Yeah. Be
Okay.
sure and load your race setup, and we'll just let this run out until it, and then we'll go to race when it takes us to it. Oh, and I did speed up only 2 minutes on that outlap, Tommy. So we'll all be going on a little bit quicker on that outlap, I guess.
Good thinking.
Trying to get around in the two, you know what I mean, with in that 10 to 15 second start of the race window for 45 minutes. So. And don't just hover over your race setup. Click it and hit load.
And assign it too. In case you get kicked out, you come back in, make sure you're back into that setup if you don't know about it.
Good idea.
The
Thanks,
grid
Brian.
is set. Let's look at the qualifying order. In Canadian Tire Racing, Tommy Teasdale on pole with 19.000. Oliver Day alongside. In Provimi Racing, Sean Eric takes pole with 19.755. In Penske, Brian Hall takes pole with 19.880. In Team Cotter, Carl Struhel takes pole with 111.005. In Newman Haas Racing, Daryl Kruger takes pole with 111.506. In Machinist Union Racing, Craig Gallagher takes pole with 115.437. Warm-up session underway. 15 minutes to prepare. P4 Carl Struhel keeping it clean. P4 Carl Struhel keeping it clean. Now watching Tommy Teasdale. P2 for Oliver Day in Canadian Tire Racing with a 113.640. Five minutes remaining. Sean Eric is in trouble in Pravimi Racing. Here's the replay. We're back with Tommy Teasdale in P1 in Canadian Tire Racing. Jazz Whitfield is in trouble in Patrick Racing. Here's the replay. We're back with Tommy Teasdale in P1 in Canadian Tire Racing. Now watching Carl Struhel. Now watching Daryl Kruger. P3, Daryl Kruger keeping it clean. Two minutes remaining. On board with Sean Eric.
Uh-oh. What happened to Brian?
I was just resetting. I'm back.
Oh, okay.
One minute remaining. P3 Sean Eric keeping it clean. Trackside view. P1 Tommy Teasdale keeping it clean. Warm-up is over. The teams will now make their final preparations.
All right. When this rolls over, Tommy will lead us around on a formation lap, and each row's race starts when you cross the start-finish line. So
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now?
Ten seconds, 5 seconds. Who's there? There he is. All right. Good luck, everybody.
You too.
Follow Tommy around.
And here we have the grid for today's race. 8 cars across 7 classes. Starting with Canadian Tire Racing. Leading Canadian Tire Racing, Tommy Teasdale in the number 76, Jacques Villeneuve. P2, Oliver Day in the number 76, Jacques Villeneuve. Moving on to Pravimi Racing. Leading Pravimi Racing, Sean Eric in the number 61, Ari Luyendik. Moving on to Penske. Leading Penske, Brian Hall in the number 11, Al Unser. Moving on to Team Cotter. Leading Team Cotter, Carl Strual in the number 9, Roberto Guerrero. Moving on to Newman Haas Racing. Leading Newman Haas Racing, Daryl Kruger in the number 1, Mario Andretti. Moving on to Machinist Union Racing. Leading Machinist Union Racing, Craig Gallagher in the number 55, Josele Garza. Moving on to Patrick Racing. Leading Patrick Racing, Jazz Whitfield in the number 40, Emerson Fittipaldi.
All right. Good luck, everybody. Make these engines last. Try to keep them off the wall. Let's get to the end, everybody.
Race underway, 45 minutes, 8 cars in 7 classes. Trackside view. Brian Hall is closing in, 0.7 seconds in the last 10 laps. This battle continues, neither giving up. On board with Jazz Whitfield. This battle continues, neither giving up. at this Pravimi Racing battle P1. Personal best in Sector 1 for Brian Hall. Personal best in Sector 2 for Brian Hall. This battle continues, neither giving up. This battle continues, neither giving up. Personal best in Sector 1 for Brian Hall. Personal best in Sector 3 for Brian Hall. This battle continues, neither giving up. Brian Hall is getting into a rhythm now. Action in Patrick Racing for P1. Oliver Day sets a personal best through Sector 3. This battle continues, neither giving up. This battle continues, neither giving up. This battle continues, neither giving up. Tommy Teasdale has spun in Canadian Tire Racing. Let's see that again.
I don't have my front wing.
Returning to the battle for P6 in Canadian Tire Racing, Jazz Whitfield versus Oliver Day.
I spun right in front of the pit entry. I could not enter.
This battle continues, neither giving up. P7 Oliver Day, keeping it clean. Trackside view. Meanwhile, Tommy Teasdale pitting from P3. This battle continues, neither giving up. Oh, Ryan Hall challenging Sean Eric for position. Ryan Hall gets by Sean Eric. On board with Jazz Whitfield. Pit stop complete for Tommy Teasdale, 63 seconds. This battle continues, neither giving up. Sean Eric back out on track after 66 seconds. This battle continues, neither giving up. Jazz Whitfield now 11 laps done. This battle continues, neither giving up. Trackside view.
Good morning, Brian.
This battle continues, neither giving up. 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 Craig Gallagher has spun in Machinist Union Racing. Let's see that again. Returning to the battle for P3 in Newman Haas Racing. Oliver Day making a move on Jazz Whitfield. Oliver Day clears the slower car. P4 Oliver Day, keeping it clean. While the action has quieted down, let's revisit an earlier moment. We're back with Oliver Day in P1 in Canadian Tire Racing. Carl Struhel has ducked into the pits from P4. Craig Gallagher has ducked into the pits from P8. Quicker laps now from Oliver Day. Oliver Day now 16 laps done. On board with Brian Hall. While we were elsewhere, Carl Struhel stopped on track on lap 15. Carl Struhel rejoins from the pits, 64. Oh, halfway point, 25 minutes remaining. Brian Hall is struggling to maintain the pace. Craig Gallagher rejoins from on board with Sean Eric. While we were elsewhere, Jazz Whitfield stopped on track on lap 15. We're back with Sean Eric in P1 in Provincial. On board with Brian Hall. Sean Eric has ducked into the pits from P5. Brian Hall's pace is fading. Brian Hall now 19 laps done. Trackside view. This battle continues, neither giving up. On board with Oliver Day. Oliver Day gets by Daryl. Oh, Daryl Kruger is in trouble in Newman Haas Racing. Here's the replay. We're back with Oliver Day in P1 in Canadian Tire Racing. Trackside view. Tommy Teasdale going for it on Carl. Oh, while we were elsewhere, Jazz Whitfield stopped on track on lap 15. We're back with Carl Struhel in P1 in Team Cotter. Carl Struhel now 20 laps done. Carl Struhel. Oh, Jazz Whitfield has spun in Patrick Racing. Let's see that again. We're back with Carl Struhel in P1. Oh, while we were elsewhere, Daryl Kruger stopped on track on lap 20. We're back with Carl Struhel in P1 in now watching Oliver Day. Oliver Day leads by 40.3 seconds. Great Patrick Racing for P1. Tommy Teasdale going for it on Jazz Whitfield. Tommy Teasdale works through traffic. Oliver Day has spun in Canadian Tire Racing. Let's see that again. We're back with Tommy Teasdale in P2. Oh, while we were elsewhere, Carl Struhel stopped on track on lap 19. We're back with Tommy Teasdale in P2 in Canadian tyre racing. Trackside view. Sean Eric now 23 laps done. Jazz Whitfield heading into pit lane. Let's look back at something we missed earlier. We're back with Sean Eric in P1 in Provimi Racing. Sean Eric, now 23 laps done. Now watching Brian Hall. P1 Brian Hall, keeping it clean. While we were elsewhere, Sean Eric stopped on track on lap 22. We're back with Brian Hall in P1 in Penske. Brian Hall now 26 laps done. P1 Brian Hall, keeping it clean. While the action has quieted down, let's revisit an earlier moment. We're back with Brian Hall in P1 in Penske. P1 Brian Hall, keeping it clean. Brian Hall now, 28 laps done. While the action has quieted down, let's revisit an earlier moment. We're back with Brian Hall in P1 in Penske. Now watching Jazz Whitfield. P6 Jazz Whitfield keeping it clean. 10 minutes remaining. Meanwhile, Sean Eric pitting from P7. Jazz Whitfield is in trouble in Patrick Racing. Here's the replay.
I'm stuck. Alright, I'm on it. Clear.
We're back with Jazz Whitfield in P1. Now watching Oliver Day. Quicker laps
Whoa,
now.
someone
from
just
Oliver Day.
materialized in front of me in the pits. Sorry, I hit him.
Meanwhile, Jazz Whitfield pitting from P6. Sean Eric is in trouble in Provimi Racing. Here's the replay. We're back with Oliver Day in P1. Oh, while we were elsewhere, Sean Eric stopped on track on lap 27. We're back with Oliver Day in P1 in Canadian Tire Racing. Sean Eric rejoins from the pit, 80 seconds stationary.
Sorry, Carl.
Oh, Carl Struhl has spun in Team Cotter. Let's see that again. We're back with Carl Struhl in P1 in Team Cotter. Carl Struhl now 31 laps done. While we were elsewhere, Tommy Teasdale stopped on track on lap 29.
Thanks, Carl.
back with Karl Struhel in P1 in Team Cotter. Trackside view. Oliver Day is getting into a rhythm now. Pit stop for Karl Struhel, currently P5. Five minutes remaining. While we were elsewhere, Sean Eric stopped on track on lap 28. We're back with Oliver Day in P1 in Canadian Tire Racing. The leader has a comfortable gap. Oliver Day is getting into a rhythm now. Karl Struhel rejoins from the pit, 66 seconds stationary. Oliver Day leads by 25.7 seconds. Losing a bit of pace now, Oliver Day. Craig Gallagher heading into pit lane. Two minutes remaining. Oliver Day leads by 25.0 seconds. Karl Struhel is in trouble in Team Cotter. Here's the replay. One minute remaining. We're back with Oliver Day in P1 in Canadian Tire Racing. Oliver Day leads by 25.6 seconds. Quicker laps now from Oliver Day. While we were elsewhere, Carl Stroll stopped on track on lap 34. We're back with Oliver Day in P1 in Canadian Tire Racing. Pit stop complete for Craig Gallagher, 150 seconds. Now watching Craig Gallagher. Craig Gallagher has found some pace in the last. On board with Daryl Kruger. Brian Hall wins the Penske. Victory in Newman Haas Racing for Daryl Kruger. The Team Cotter winner is Carl Struhlhall. Sean Eric takes the Provimi Racing win. On board with Oliver Day. Trackside view. Craig Gallagher wins the Machine Racing. Checkered flag for Jazz Whitfield in Patrick Racing. On board with Daryl Kruger. Trackside view. On board with Craig Gallagher.
Well, gentlemen, congratulations. Steady wins the race. Brian and Oliver and first and second in pro, and then Daryl getting third overall with the AM win. Way to go. Who had a clean race? I think Brian. I never heard crew chief say Brian spins. I think I heard him say Daryl spun once, but yeah, it just kind of went downhill after my first mistake. But thanks for coming. Most everybody finished. Jazz almost got to the end. So hope y'all had fun, and thanks for coming out.
Yeah, the turtle does one every once in a while, I guess, doesn't it?
Good job,
And
Brian.
I was, yeah, you were letting me back by when I was charging. I mean, I unlapping myself, which was a smart thing, because then you would see me spun out or crashed a little later. So
Yeah, I just trying to keep it off the wall is all I try to do.
oh yeah, I knew your mind was like, I can win this easy if I just don't.
No, not easy. Not after
Well,
last week. I saw Tommy just tear me down last week.
Well, and nothing's ever easy at Long Beach, is it?
This time I did not have the speed to catch up.
Well,
and then,
it's not my birthday, but thank you for the present. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I got a sudden spike of turbo at the exit of the hairpin. And where I spun, I could not enter the pit. I was right beside the pit entry in the wrong angle.
I saw you sitting there. I was trying to figure out if that was you
So
or not.
I literally had to drive a full lap. Then I got
thank you for the birthday present.
for speeding. And I spun again 10 minutes ago while I was chasing Daryl.
Yeah,
I didn't blow up.
Congratulations. Yeah, way to go, Daryl.
I nearly got stuck on the racing line.
How'd you do that? Like on a curb or what?
No, I just had no neutral steer and I got lost, something like that. Very slow slide.
So next
And
time,
when I had power, it just went on spin.
Oh, I thought you
Next-
said you got stuck, like you were stuck in a wall or something weird.
Now,
What, Carl?
next week we actually go back to GTCC for once in a long blue moon.
then
Finally.
I
April-
also lost force feedback a few times on the
Oh,
back
no.
straight because of the bumps.
That's no good.
So
Yeah.
yeah, let's see.
And the
yeah,
force feedback would come back in the hairpin somehow.
That was a
Weird.
blast, guys. I had fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting old man lead for a little while.
yeah, you did good, man. You kept
Yeah.
it off
Yeah.
the walls and brought her home for the victory. So good job. Let's see. I think we
Yeah, nice job, Brian.
we
Yeah, Craig-
raced.
Craig,
we
did
don't-
you make the whole race without? Oh, you hit the wall in that second to last race or lap?
Yeah, but I was able to get back on.
Well, that's pretty good. Good job.
Yeah, and I heard crew chief only said that you spun once, and I was like, well, I spun a lot more times than that. But to see, in April we do not race the Indy cars again until May 19th, guys, and that's when